I have never played a Tomodachi game in my entire life, but I am definitely aware of its existence because everybody who played this thing on the 3DS just will not shut up about it, okay? A game where you can create Miis based off your family members and like celebrities. Why would I ever want to play a game like that? Check it out. What do we think? What do you think, dude?
Yeah.
As a first-time player in this Tomodachi universe, I've got to admit I'm in love. And not just with my wife for the second time. I'm in love with the art style, the gameplay loop, and simply the core philosophy of what Tomodachi Life represents in an industry full of chaos and overstimulation. It's hard to describe my experience here for the past 2 weeks on this island, but this is like the most anti-modern game of 2026. This is a game that forces you to sit in the weird chair that's in the corner of every single hotel room. And I know that doesn't make any sense right now, but just let me explain. The game starts you out on this relatively simple and empty island, giving you only one job, creating Miis for you to control and torture. Wait for it.
Change the hair to the same row, but the second from the left. That is not what my hair looks like.
Making Mii versions of your family members for you to control later feels so weird. I'm literally recreating a virtual clone of the life that I have right now, but I'm putting it inside of a video game. And in here, I have all of the control. The power that I have over my digital family members makes me feel very uncomfortable. And, you know, this is a hard concept to grasp in general, dude. I tried showing this to my grandma, and she just kind of looked at the screen, and I don't think that her brain could actually fathom what she was witnessing, dude. She was born in the 1940s, and here she is looking at a screen where her grandson cloned her digitally, as well as himself, and now they're both interacting in the game. And she's watching this while also interacting with her grandson in real life.
Well, we were at the park. This is what it reminds me of.
Then I realized I didn't have to make every Mii somebody that I knew personally, so let me introduce you to my growing family on the island. Me, my wife, my grandma, my dog, my other dog, Ugly Goku, Evil Me, Shrek, Abe Lincoln, Frogman, Princess Bubblegum, Marceline, Ugly Zelda, Mario, Hank Hill, Gojo, Default Guy, Patrick Star, Anxiety, Depression, and also my hemorrhoid doctor, just to name a few. And as the creator of this island, we have to oversee everything and make sure all of the Miis are happy and we can build whatever structures we need to accomplish this goal and overall create an island where everybody is a happy little camper. It's a really engaging gameplay loop because you're getting rewarded for kind of just subtly nudging different characters together and then ultimately stalking them from a distance and watching their lives unfold. And you, like I said, you're getting XP and points and progressing in the game because you're kind of creepily watching them from behind a tree. There's a lot to do here, but it's relatively straightforward, and I found that the Miis aren't super needy, which I appreciate because I feel like I don't have to constantly be checking on every person on the village nonstop. You know, it's not like I need to wipe Shrek's ass every 2 seconds. He can kind of do his own thing, and they're relatively independent. The creations and conversations in this game are only limited by your imagination. You can have them eat whatever slop you want them to, or wear whatever crappy, ugly logo on their shirt that you design, or, you know, if you want, you can have all of them talk about hemorrhoids. I did get a comment the other day asking me to stop talking about my personal health issues, so out of respect, I will no longer be talking about my hemorrhoids.
I'm laying down in the doctor's office right here like this on my bed with my ass like kind of perked out. And so I'm a little bit nervous. He's like, "All right, Isaac, this is gonna feel weird." I'm like, "What's gonna feel weird?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it." And I just hear like the snap of these gloves, dude. And then like he squirts out like a little bit of lube, and it goes right onto his first 2 fingers. And I'm like, "Oh God!" And then he just freaking yoink. My man's was going in there, feeling around. He was scavenging. He's swirling that thing around like it's a damn spoon and some yogurt mixing in some granola. That's what he was doing up there.
I've never been the biggest fan of life sim games, even though I do love the aesthetic and the vibe that most of them give off. It's been hard for me to feel invested in any of these in particular, just because they end up feeling like a chore simulator to me. There's just like this painful irony that I feel when I'm cleaning and doing chores in Animal Crossing. Meanwhile, the room that I'm sitting in is disgusting. None of this makes any sense. I don't want to play it because most of the time this is what it looks like. Like if I'm gonna be in a nasty room and it smells like BO, at least throw up Smash Bros on the screen. But as I kept chugging along and stalking all of my Miis on my island, I realized I didn't really get bored, and this game was scratching an itch in my brain that has not been scratched in years. And after thinking about this for a little bit, I finally understood that the reason why is because I'm not really playing a game. Of course, I'm involved in the island and developing Miis and designing my different structures, but for the most part, I'm just watching the chaos unfold. The best analogy I've seen for this game was somebody online calling this game an aquarium. And this is such a perfect description now, dude. I cannot unsee this game. It's just like a giant fishbowl with super ugly Miis that I've created walking and swimming around. I'm just like this creepy divine entity that's constantly watching these Miis, but not getting involved. And every once in a while, I will mold things a little bit towards the direction I want. But other than that, I've just got my eyes on these guys. Watching my grandma interact with the digital manifestation of my own depression is a trip, dude. It's been insane to witness on my Switch 2 screen. I've always been obsessed with the little details and ambience that these developers will pour so much love and attention into, with the sole goal of relaxing you in the video game. And oddly enough, this is actually how I relax outside of the video game. 9 times out of 10, if I'm trying to chill in my real life and I want to put a video on in the background, it's either going to be like, old retro video game music from the SNES era, or it'll just be an ambience video game music video on YouTube. Literally ones where I'll be in Dark Souls hanging out by the fire, listening to it crackle and break up the logs, or I'll be in Breath of the Wild and I can hear the wind blowing back and forth in my ears, or I found this one recently of the Xbox 360 Zen Garden home screen, and this one fills me with so much peace. And then the other 10% of the time I'll watch this like old Scottish dude recite things from Jesus in my ear. I don't know. My consumption habits have actually been pretty good lately. I'm happy about it.
Let's start as usual. Feet on the ground.
I love little detailed ambiences in games because it forces and encourages the player to just slow down. Stop and smell the roses here, brother. Talk to an NPC. Have a drink with somebody at a bar. Watch the wind move the trees in different directions. I love things like this. But you know what's crazy? Most of the games I've been playing the past 3 to 4 years have been the opposite. And even a lot of the games that I've been playing that are supposed to go against the grain and are marketed as like the antidote, oftentimes leave me feeling just as stressed out. And this is why I talk about life sim games. Dude, Pokopia just came out, which is also another life sim game. And this one, after playing it and then running into Tomodachi, it's crazy to me that they are almost polar opposites in my brain. In Pokopia, like I said in my video about it, I'm stressed out all the freaking time, dude. I have got to clean up for these Pokemon. I've got to make sure the humidity's right. There's all of these little things that I'm worried about. And also, I forgot to mention, I'm rebuilding a civilization from the ground up again. Even in Animal Crossing, you got Tom Nook slipping into your pockets just asking you to pay off your debt. And then you've got even bigger, more expensive releases that swing and miss at ambience. Mario Kart World, I remember everybody was hyped about this open world feature where you could drive around, and this is like peak ambience. One of my favorite things about Forza games is that you can literally drive around, and it's so relaxing to just listen to some music, vibe out, and speed 300 miles per hour, probably run over some people, but otherwise you're having a great time. I thought we were going to go into this Mario Kart World free roam thing with the same expectations and experience. I could drive around listening to Nintendo music in Mario Kart. That would be awesome. But then when the game actually released, the open world was nothing. It's mostly just barren, dude. There's not much going on, and it feels kind of like you're driving slowly on a massive highway, and that's about it. And I know what you're thinking. Doesn't like a barren, empty open world kind of fit the same category as relaxing ambience? No. A good slow space and environment still has content packed into it and wants you to stay engaged and involved, but doesn't overwhelm you when you're playing it. But somehow a game where my hemorrhoid doctor is talking to Marceline gives me the slowness that I've been craving lately. I found myself booting up Tomodachi with no agenda or goals in mind. I simply just want to take a look into the aquarium and see what's going on here. And you never know what you're gonna find. Sometimes I'll see Shrek on a date with Princess Bubblegum, or maybe Hank Hill is hungry and needs a snack, or maybe even my anxiety and depression are starting to get to know each other and they're gonna form a super team of mental illness to destroy me once and for all. And I'm not asking for Tomodachi to be the complete embodiment of the cuck chair in the hotel room, and thankfully this game isn't that. There's still a sense of progression, levels, and obviously designing and building out your entire island and upgrading the relationships that the Miis have with each other and also yourself. But I guess in some ways the primary focus of this game is just sitting in this chair. And this might sound a little bit weird at first, but I've kind of missed sitting in the Nintendo cuck chair. Most of my childhood was spent playing things like the Wii, Wii U, 3DS, and DS, and a lot of these systems and games embody perfectly this chair philosophy. The Mii channel was something that was like a mini fishbowl, or flying over Woohoo Island was actually pretty fun and relaxing to explore different areas. Sitting down and reading all of the Miiverse posts was insane, but also pretty relaxing to me. And nobody really talks about this game too much, and even me, it's like a figment of my imagination, but I spent an ungodly amount of time in Pokemon Ranch. All of these things by themselves are kind of ass, and I definitely have nostalgia glasses on when I reflect on them, but I still think there's a lot of beauty to gather from every single experience here and apply that to future games, trying to give us some type of ambience or reason to just relax in a video game. And I felt a little bit nostalgic over the past few weeks playing Tomodachi because it does feel like I'm back in this slower mindset of enjoying a game and just simply existing in that environment once more, which I always talk about and always preach on this channel, but actually doing it in a video game is pretty hard. It's also just been really fun again to show people the goofy cutscenes of Tomodachi and like present them it on the Switch too. I feel like a kid again, like showing my parents something stupid that I made in arts and crafts, except this time it's a conversation of themselves talking about vasectomies in like a Wii game. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But just like with every single fishbowl, if you stare at it for a little bit too long, you're probably gonna get bored. The novelty does wear off a little bit the more you play this game. You'll start to see the same cutscenes or maybe the same interactions between all of the Miis, and the charm will fade eventually because it's not a limitless, endless stream of new content for you. But honestly, my biggest issue is just the fact that there's no Mii sharing at all. There's no online internet play whatsoever, and I understand why. I mean, they had to be careful because Nintendo removed all of the filters on this game, which is why I'm able to talk about things like my hemorrhoids and vasectomies inside of my island, which is understandable. But at the same time, dude, can you give me like a QR code scanner or something so that I can take and steal all of the amazing creations that I've seen online? Dude, I am not a pixel artist. I don't have the time to create these insane Miis and items and horrible dishes and meals to feed all of my Miis. So give me a QR code scanner, please, Nintendo. I can see this being a game where people get hooked into the nostalgia of the Miis, and if you're not willing to commit to actually building out your island, it might be something that you spend $60 on just to get a couple of cute, funny cutscenes and then you drop the game. So I'd definitely be pretty cautious about spending your money here. It all just depends on how much you value a game that helps you slow down, and it's weird because Tomodachi actually isn't similar to any of the other games that I talked about earlier when I was discussing ambience, because it's not like them at all. I mean, you're the one who has to build the ambience. You build the island to make it more slow or however, whatever it is you want. And it's just been a while since I felt this way, which is why I felt so compelled to yap about it for 15 straight minutes. And longer I play this game, the more I keep thinking about the dark reality that maybe I'll revisit my island in like 20 years and my grandma will still be walking around as happy as ever. But then maybe in my real life, she won't be around anymore. And I just don't think I'm emotionally prepared for that.
Know nothing about me, know nothing about me. I want her around me, maybe she could love me. She got that honey.